With these 3 colors, you can make all of the colors of the rainbow, which is great for your tulip field. You can have these colors by themselves for the tulip field, or you can use them to make more colors. So for example, if I have pink, and I mix the pink with the yellow, what color would I get? Orange, yeah. So pink is like the red. So if I wanted to make orange, I'm just going to mix those 2 together. If I want to make green, anybody know how I'm going to make green?
Yellow and yellow.
The blue and the yellow will make green. If I wanted to make purple, I'm also going to use the blue.
And red and a little bit of pink.
And what could I use instead of red that would make it a little more bright?
Pink.
Pink. So I'm going to put the blue, it's getting low, so I'm just going to put it there. And I could take pink from here, or I could take pink from here. So if you don't see green, orange, or purple on your tray, what does it mean?
You mix it correctly.
You can mix them to get the color that you want. So let's say I want this orange. It's okay if it's like kind of like pink and orange and yellow. It's better to go in the direction of the field. See how I'm going out? I'm not going this way. I'm actually going to go like this in that direction. So this is going to be the orange one. This is the first step, is to color all of these. Just like this. I'll give you all the directions, and then you'll be free to go. You'll be able to put your smock on, pick out your colors, pick out your flathead brush, and get started pretty quickly. So I think that it's good to have a pattern with the tulips, but you don't have to do a pattern. So if you wanted to do a pattern, and maybe you wanted to do like 3 colors, then skip, and then do this one. That one could be orange. And you don't have to do it. You could do like somewhat of a pattern, but not exactly like a pattern. And maybe orange, where would the other orange be?
Like right there.
Yeah, right here. So if you don't like a pattern, don't have to do it at all. You can choose how you want to do your colors. Some people like to have grass. Okay, 2 choices. You can wash your brush, dry your brush on a towel, and then use the same brush, or you could give it to a friend to use if they're going to use orange, and then you take a different brush and say you want purple. You're going to take pink with a different brush. Now this brush becomes the one that goes with the purple. If you mix colors like purple and the orange, those are both secondary colors, and you can end up with some browns or maybe worse, black. So be careful when you're going along the edges that you don't over mix them. Maybe you want to do that one purple. Maybe you want this one, this row over here to be more blue. Blue and orange are complementary colors. They're opposite of each other on the color wheel. So they will make brown. So I'm going to be, if I'm putting complementary colors next to each other, I have to be what? Careful, yeah, but don't over worry, because you're gonna dab it with the tint in a little bit. So I'm done with the blue and the purple, so I'm gonna put that aside and get another brush for pink. I just want to have some pink ones. Pink tulips are so beautiful. Maybe I'm gonna do the pattern, so I'm gonna do pink and orange, but maybe I'm not. So you kind of can decide at this point if you want it to be a pattern like orange, pink, blue, or orange, purple, pink, orange, purple, blue, whatever you want. I'm not doing, yeah.
I like flowers on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do that. So we're gonna get to that part. Some of you are gonna go really fast with this, and some of you are gonna go slow and not get to the second part. So this will just help you to see which part you want. So maybe this one's gonna be pink, and then you kind of pick a different color. Maybe you wanna pick yellow. Maybe you want to do a row of grass, so you do some green. You really can choose to do whatever you want. I really like the pink, so I think I'm going to do another row of pink. Yes.
Can we do all pink, or do you want us to do different
You can
colors?
choose. If you do it all pink, it's going to be hard to see your rows, right? Because if it will all be one. But there was a boy in yesterday's class that did a whole field of just green. And he's going to do a lighter green on top of that. And it's just going to be kind of like a field of green grasses. And it's best to go in this direction. Okay, so remember I said you're going to make a tint? be careful with all this that you don't get the paint on this. If you have room on the sides, it's better to put your paint on the side so that you don't get it too mixed up.
What about on top?
So I'm going to take the same paint tray and I'm going to add white to all of these colors. So it's okay if you don't get to this part today. If you don't get to this part today, please don't worry, because you're going to have some class time in a couple weeks. You guys are on a 7-day rotation, so in a couple weeks when you come, you'll have time for this. So I'm making a tint. A tint is just when you add white to a color, and then I'm going to dab, 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 and this gives it what kind of look?
Oh, like a flowery look.
Yeah, and this, you know how we talked about Monet being an impressionist painter?
Yeah.
And he had that like blurry kind of look. Isn't this like that perfect blurry look?
Yeah.
If you want to go even further with it, you can keep adding white and keep making it lighter and lighter and make it so light it looks like the sun is really shining on this field. I usually start with the fields in the back like this, and I do the back ones first, because if I do the back ones first and then go to the next one, yeah, it's easier. So the light orange. Oh no, it keeps doing this okay, sorry. So there you go. There you go. Can you see now?
Yeah. In the
Alright,
video, will it
orange,
show the close
orange.
the thing that happened?
Oh yeah, you can rewatch it.
Tell the voices stop making noises.
They're making farts.
We're almost done. We're almost to the part. You can even add some more yellow. If you add more yellow, it's not a tint, but it also has that, look at how that looks kind of like light.
Yeah.
And then if you add white on top of that and make it even more peachy color, look how pretty that is. Maybe even add more white.
Oh, that looks really pretty.
Yeah, you kind of want to really blob it on. I'm going fast, but you can take your time and make it look more beautiful just by taking your time. Here's the purple. You could do the same color for the blue one.
That looks really good.
Yeah, you can even add some more pink to that. Make it more of a purpley pink. And you can do both of those, the lighter blue color. That works for both of these kind. So the same thing right here. Dab, dab, dab.
That's more time.
Okay, so what do you need to do to get ready? If you're still working on your colored pencil drawing, you need to do that before you do this part. If you were absent, you can just draw these lines with paint, and you can do your vanishing lines that you've learned about with just paint instead of the pencil.
I didn't get to finish my
Cover, yeah, or you could do the sky. So if you want to go get your watercolors, you can go finish. Anybody else need to finish their sky? Yeah, so you can go get your watercolors and you can paint your sky.
Miss Lowe.
You can also finish your windmill too today, if that's something you're still working on.
Did somebody paint those on the ceiling, or is that just like?
Yeah, they're painted. Yeah, different people painted.
What?
Different people painted them.
Yeah,
You can make different tints of white.
Did they come to school and paint it?
In the
That's okay. In the drawer.
Any questions before you get started with this step if you're on this step? No, just different people painted it. Any questions about this part?
Did you
No, they didn't do it.
I know, but did you make a copy of it and put it on the ceiling?
No. No.
Then how'd you get it on the ceiling?
On those?
That was like last year.
Those have been last year.
Can I use one of these? Oh, you already. Yeah, fine.
They've been there the whole school. I know.
All right, no questions. You can get started.